Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to Wingin It. So we have a very exciting tournament livestream game for you here today, which is coming from the Vouillé Duck Dash, which is a tournament that we have running at the moment over on the Wingspan Tournaments Discord server. And this is a round 4 matchup, so we're getting quite far into this tournament now. And it's between funbun and Julius, so these are two very strong players on our server, both very highly rated on the ELO system. And as I said, this is round 4, so you've got to be a good player to get this far in the tournament, and these two certainly are. So, like I said, we've got some good matches, and talking through these matches with me today is Groovenstein. So, hello, Groovenstein. How are you doing?
Greetings, Flan. I am doing wonderfully. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm looking forward to this. This is our second stream of the day, so I know you were commentating on the earlier one, so hopefully you've saved a bit of energy in reserve to keep yourself going for this match, because I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to 3. Two good players. It feels very evenly matched.
Yeah, I got to say that when Chop dropped out and that awkward monologue I had to do was taxing, but no, we're good. Maybe we'll actually look at the chat this time. I've already started to look at it. Somebody says to keep it PG, and so maybe I should just quit now. I don't know, but
Yeah, no, well, we do have the bingo up as always, and yeah, one of those bingo squares is chat is ignored for a significant time, but the other one is commentator monologuing. So yeah, like you said, hopefully we'll try our best to avoid that. But yeah, like I said, this could be a long one, so I think we should get started. We should get into some Wingspan. So we've already done the flip, and funbun is going to be going first in this game one. So funbun, if you could send out the invite. Best of luck to both players. Like I said, this should be a good match. So let's get into it.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, and funbun already rocking the lovely Chinese New Year background, so have to appreciate that. Let's have a look at their starting hand. Not amazing, but some okay options. I think the turn's quite nice, and the vulture probably a straightforward pick. They've gone straight for those. Yeah, kind of the only two good birds really that you'd probably look to keep there.
Yeah, no doubt, and you can see the bonus card nest box. So already halfway to that. I mean,
Absolutely.
the vulture's not ideal, but it's it costs you no food, and when you have really no great forest birds in your hand or in the tray, I mean, it's certainly adequate to
Absolutely.
start with, especially when it gets you halfway to your bonus card. So
Yep.
so yeah, not bad, not bad.
Yep. Any birds in the tray that you think they might be looking at? Maybe that willet just as a kind of second wetland bird. Although they're thinking about this warbler here. I guess when you are keeping two birds and you can get them down with just a single food, you do have a bit of flexibility there. Of okay, well maybe I can afford to keep that extra bird or a bit of extra food just to sort of kickstart you at the start. But yeah, would you look at going for the food or the cards, or is there anything in the tray that catches your eye?
Well, I mean, as you say, the willet, does provide the advantage of only costing one food, and being able to kind of build out that wetlands quickly, so you can draw additional. You can be cycling, 3 cards a pull and keeping two, and when you, it's always to your advantage, of course, to be cycling cards. But I mean, especially you want to have the chance to look at a lot of cards when your starting hand is weaker. So I mean, I think there's an argument to be made there. The bluebird they don't really need right now,
Yeah.
and the burrowing owl. I think while it's it's an okay bird, but it's not something that it's too expensive for them right now in terms of food and just kind of opportunity costs.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's either you look to lay the turn, get the turn down, lay some eggs, and then start cycling through cards. I think I would prefer that to just picking up the willet straight away, but I think you could certainly make a case for that.
Absolutely. So we've got Julius's hand here as well. They're already kind of looking at that dove and the catbird. I think that probably makes sense. Maybe something like the crossbill could make sense, but you probably prioritise the dove, and then suddenly you haven't got food for the crossbill. I'm wondering maybe if they're thinking about going for both of those in the forest. But yeah, not a great start. Kind of the glaring omission is that wetland. So really, I think it is going to come down to whether funbun takes that willet straight away or not. Because I would certainly expect if that's still there, come Julius's turn, they're going to be jumping all over that.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would expect that as well. I mean, anytime you find yourself with without a bird in the wetland at the beginning, you're really kind of playing with fire, so to speak. So
Absolutely.
yeah, if I'm Julius, I grab that willet and then look to get the dove down and start getting eggs and going through cards.
Ooh, now that is interesting that they've left it so. I do wonder, they probably they're looking at that catbird and thinking, right, I need the cherry in that feeder if I'm going to get this down, and there is only one. So it's interesting they've prioritised that. Again, like I said, I am imagining that those are going to be, their two forest birds. However, having said that, we've
Oh,
got a dove in the wetland, so that does kind of work okay. Again, if you're going to add the catbird to that, you are getting two cards and you're getting two eggs. Obviously, the morning dove in particular is nice for this first end of round goal. But yeah, it's an interesting start because you're going to leave yourself, with no food once that catbird is down, and no forest bird. So it's going to take a bit of digging and hoping that they can get that cheap forest bird to easily get that down.
well, and the risk with that strategy is that you've only got two pulls where you can use that catbird.
Yep,
Otherwise, it's your dove's out of egg space. So
absolutely.
um, yeah, so that's kind of a a tough play there. And looking over at, I mean, Funbun has picked up the pileated
Yep,
woodpecker, which is just fantastic for it fits with their
agreed.
end of round. It's gonna help them with or excuse me, it fits with their bonus card. It's gonna help them with uh well they can fill eggs on the turn to qualify for the first end of round. It's going to help them with the next couple end of rounds, and at least for the moment, Julius has no cavity nest birds,
Mhm.
so that's a monster pull for Funbun there.
Yep, and I think it's quite smart as well taking that burrowing out. They looked at that, they saw it's a star nest, it's going to help with this end of round, but also, if you are going to get that woodpecker down, you need as many of those egg spaces as possible. So not only are they helping themselves, but actually, they're denying that option for their opponent. I think as soon as you see someone play a bird like the woodpecker, and you know that they're going to be giving you free eggs, you want to try and get that nest type down as soon as possible. And yeah, you kind of look at Julius's position at the moment, and they don't really seem in that strong of a position to be able to do that at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I think what they're hoping to do has got to be to pull something like a hummingbird,
Yep.
so that they can really go back and forth with that catbird as far as multiplying eggs or multiplying food. I mean, uh, really it's an enormous gamble, I think, by them, and at least in the early stages here, it's you gotta think Funbun has the edge right now.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Nice pull there though for Julius on their last turn. So they did get that forest bird they're looking for. It's probably a little bit expensive. It's going to take a couple of turns. That said, it is that kind of cavity nest that they will be looking for. And again, with the star nest on the grebe, it's quite a nice one. So yeah, I do worry a little bit. Certainly, I think they're looking for something like a nuthatch or a chickadee that they can get down really cheaply in their forest. Or like you said, if you can get a hummingbird, that's kind of ideal. But yeah, it feels like it's a nice start at the moment in terms of those cards and eggs for Julius, but they're really going to struggle for food at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the brown-headed cowbird that they pulled. I mean, a lot of times that can be a
Mm,
really nice bird to get down early, but when you see your opponent's got that pileated woodpecker, I mean, that bird's probably not gonna pay a
yeah,
lot of dividends at least until much later.
yeah, agreed. I wouldn't expect Funbun to be using their grassing too much. I'm going to stop talking though because we've got the Raven, and you could kind of tell from Julius's reaction. They're quite excited by that. So yeah, a nice pull, but again, it kind of feeds into those other problems of how do you get that down? You know, it's 3 food. Are they really going to be spending 3 turns, you know, drawing a single food just to get that down? And then, you know, you look at the other cards in their hand, not really those kind of grassland engine building birds you look to build up. So yeah, a great pull, but I don't know. I wonder how easily Julius is going to be able to get that one down.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much going to take you know, it's going to take a hummingbird, or it's going to take
Yeah.
you know, a forest bird that they can get down quickly and then start moving cards.
Wow. Okay. I mean, you have to.
Oh,
That's a horrible situation for Julius because he has to deny that. You cannot leave that wood duck for
uh-huh.
funbun. But he's in that horrible position of not wanting to draw cards because it's slow for him. But also he's already filled up on that morning dove, so you're not going to get any points. It's just it's a turn drawing 2 cards, and that's not the card he would have wanted to see come up.
Oh, it's so brutal. I
Yeah.
mean, because yeah, it's a mandatory deny. I mean, if funbun gets that card, it's GG. So
absolutely. Oh, this is very risky play. I think funbun is 100% expecting that wood duck to go. He's going to be all over this, and
oh yeah.
ooh, this is very interesting. This is very interesting
Wow.
that he's left that. That is very bold.
I mean, I guess you know, it could be, you know, funbun's a sharp player, and it could be he's like, okay, he didn't block it this, you know, he didn't block it this time.
It's a huge risk, though. You know, you don't need to prioritize getting that vulture down. You could pick up the wood duck now and worry about the vulture later. He must have seen it. He must know it's there. I really wonder. You know, it's that perfect bird. It goes so well with the woodpecker, but you know, it's going to help with these end of round goals and their bonus card and just everything. It's kind of the
Sure,
perfect bird.
yeah, Andy's sitting on the mockingbird in his hand. I mean, he'll be able to
Absolutely.
crush that forest.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know, the longer this goes on, and Julius isn't taking it, we have a good wetland raven though, which is yeah, interesting. Kind of makes sense, I guess, with the dove. You know, they're easing him to feed that, and suddenly you're getting cards and food at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I really think funbun has to take this wood duck. You know, it's not something that Julius wants, but Julius is going to be denying that as soon as they get the chance to draw cards.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if funbun was hoping it would still be there, they better grab it
Okay,
now.
take it, take it.
Do it.
Please take it. No, don't take the brand. No.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh.
Big sigh of relief. Okay.
Yeah.
They are going to play it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
my laptop is grateful because I think it was about to take a trip through the window.
I mean, I think my heart rate is grateful because that was about to go through the roof if he didn't pick that up. So yeah, that's it's good to see. But it's so bizarre that got left for so long, and neither player was picking it up, or you know, even Julius wasn't denying it there. So yeah, I'm sure they'll be able to get that down, you know, as soon as possible. And like you said, with that mockingbird as well, such a strong position, they'll be able to get so many cards and eggs and food. It's just going to be all about what they can get from the deck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's you know, there aren't very many scenarios where you look to kind of, you know, really build out your
Yeah.
forest early on, but this is just about the dream. I mean, it's like the only thing that keeps this from being, you know, a perfect scenario is like you change the vulture to a chickadee or something. But
Yep.
but right now, especially, you know, Julius still does not have a nest bird down, or you know,
No.
a cavity nest bird down. So
No, and one thing that I was just trying to work out, and it was picked up in the chat, is this is a very interesting full tuck that Julius is going for. So he's got one of these discard a food for 2 tucks in the pelican, and he copied the raven last turn to get extra fish. So I can only imagine now he's going to be going through that wetlands. You know, it's getting points on that pelican, which is nice. Obviously, the raven's going to give food. He kind of needs he needs something like a bush tip to kind of top that off, but at the moment it's a very interesting looking full tuck, and yeah, should be able to generate them a lot of points.
Yeah, it's really rare that you get a full tuck that doesn't involve either a tuck and lay or a
Yep.
tuck and draw. Like
Yeah.
that's
Those are normally mandatory for this kind of thing. So yeah, very
yeah, that's
unconventional.
yeah, no doubt. I was about to say that's crazy, but not to say that it's bad.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, unconventional is a much better word.
Yeah, I mean it certainly works. You know, they're getting points, they're getting food from the Raven as well. So you know they're not at the stage of copying the Pelican yet, but obviously, you know, late game they've got that flexibility of, okay, I can just go all in on the points here, on the tucks on that Pelican. But yeah, I think they're interesting pulls, I think, from the tray there. You know, they looked at the Horn Lark. I'm kind of interested they've not gone for something like the Wren. You know, like you said before, they need something that's going to get them those free eggs, because you know, especially with that Wood Duck going down, and I think as soon as they see the Mockingbird as well, you know that you're going to get so many eggs from that Woodpecker. It kind of feels like a miss to not get those. So yeah, they got the titmouse as well. I just really think they need to get a cavity nest down to at least, you know, benefit from those free eggs.
Yeah, yeah, 100% they do. And there
And
we
there we
go.
go.
Okay.
Good. So I can feel a little bit more relaxed now that Julius isn't missing out on all these 3 points. Um, but yeah, I think, you know, it's one of those full tucks at the moment where it's effectively, you know, net zero on the eggs, unless they are going to start copying the Mourning Dove, which it looks like they are. But yeah, you know,
Mhm.
you get one from the Dove and you lose one from the Raven. This is really where you want that bush tit or something to get those extra eggs, and also the points from the tuck cards.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, them getting a tuck and lay now for sure. You know, you get the bush tit, get the. I mean, the bush tit would be ideal just because of
Yeah.
you know the nest box or the excuse me, the it's got 5 egg spaces, but you know, even something like the grackle or the blackbird, just one of those tuck and lay birds
Yeah.
it would be absolutely perfect for them.
Yeah. So it looks like funbun's kind of ready to complete their forest here. Obviously they've got the food from the Mockingbird, but I noticed they picked up that hawk as well. So they'll probably get both those down. And yeah, like you said, you kind of really you'd hope that vulture was something like a chickadee instead, just to get you that kind of cached food every turn. But this still feels like a strong forest they're getting set up. You know, it's going to get them food, cards, eggs, points, all that, you know, the whole shebang. So it set them up really nicely, you know, particularly for this end of round goal. But yeah, you know, they'll be looking to draw these big point birds and get them down very easily.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I wonder, what about the lark? I'm just gonna throw it out there. I mean, you got to figure that
Yeah,
that bird at this point. I mean, it does fit in with their passerine bonus card. They're gonna have plenty of cards to throw
exactly.
away, and you know, by the end of the game, you're probably looking at least 3 tucks for it. So
Yeah, yeah, I did see them pick it up from the tray. You know, I think they are probably expecting, okay, you know, funbun is they're going to be drawing these big point birds. They can't go in the forest because they filled that up. So, you know, chances are at least some of them are going to go in that grasslands. And yeah, you see with the lark going down, you know, like we said, it's this very unconventional full tuck where you're gaining 3 cards a turn and nothing's getting tucked. So he's certainly not going to be short of cards to get under that lark when funbun inevitably is going to get some of these big point birds down in the grasslands.
yeah. Now, what's your feeling about about them getting the hawk down here? The fun bun getting the hawk in the forest.
It's interesting. I think I don't mind it. I think, you know, it's probably just borderline of being too late.
Mhm.
You know, you look at it. Okay, they've activated it now. There's another 8 turns. Are they going to draw food maybe in 4 of those turns? Okay, let's say you get 3 successful hunts on top of the one they've already got. 7 points minus the 2 eggs is 5 points. It's not a bad play. You know, it gives them that option as well of, okay, if I have got lots of extra cards from this wood duck, I can start chucking those if I do need the extra food. Probably unlikely. Yeah, it is borderline. I think if they waited a couple more turns, the hawk probably was a bit too late. But I can see why they'd be able to justify playing it now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, I guess it's a little bit easier to say with what they pulled, but you see that they, you know, they pulled
Mm,
the barn owl, which would have maxed out their nest box,
yep.
and so that all of a sudden becomes a, you know, a 6 point play versus the 1 point play on the hawk.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they'll still look to get that down. So, like you said, it's going to max out their bonus card. It's already worth 5 points on its own, and getting those two rodents should be straightforward. And they've got a nice pull as well in the blue heron. So these are kind of the
Mhm.
birds, these big point double birds. Those are the ones you look for running a wood duck engine like this, because you're going to have so much food to get them down. And yeah, he's just going to be looking for a puffin or a whooping crane or something like that to double up with that. And yeah, that's certainly going to help score a lot of points and hopefully get a nice bonus card alongside it.
Sure, yeah, and that's a great point that you bring up about the with the wood duck engine and having lots of food, and you're just thinking, okay, whenever you're setting up an engine in general, you want to think like, what resources am I going to have a lot of? What am I going to be short on? Where am I going to,
Yeah,
where are a lot of my plays going to come from? And then kind of how is that gonna what's the best way I can score points with these resources that I've gathered? And so yeah, I mean, absolutely what you look for with the wood duck. I mean, if you think about it, take a bird like, say the barn swallow, right? Ordinarily a very strong bird, but in a situation like this, you're just not going to be spending a whole lot of time in your grassland. It's just not going to yield you a whole lot of points. So yeah, you are looking for those big point plays with this kind of setup.
absolutely. And yeah, we're getting to this point now where Funbun, they spent quite a few turns in that forest, and they are starting to run out of those cavity nest spaces. So it's kind of key that you get some of these down. I mean, that's where the barn owl is so strong. It's got those 4 spaces, so I would expect that to go down, not before too long. But yeah, they really need to start playing birds, clearing out some of these egg spaces, and yeah, just enabling them to continue using that engine.
Yeah, and I'd even be looking, I'd be looking at possibly the heron barn owl down in the
Mm,
wetland. I mean,
yeah,
your last end of round here is going to be eggs in wetlands. That's going to give you 6 of those cavity nest spaces once you add to the 2 in the turn. So you're going to be able to fill up a lot of eggs. Plus, with that being your max bonus card there, that's you're looking at a really high point play there.
yeah, that's a really good point. And it's unlikely that Julius is going to want to spend too many turns filling up those spaces. Obviously, they do have quite a lot of egg spaces in their wetlands, but they're not going to score a whole lot of points unless they do get some more birds down. So we get our first tuck on the horn lark. I have been looking at the chat. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. There is just so much interesting stuff going on in this game that it's hard to keep up as well. But yeah, we've had some sort of pros and cons of horn lark. We've got some anti-horn lark people, but also some horn lark fanboys. So yeah, I certainly would expect it's going to get a few more tucks. And yeah, like we said before, not really going to run out of cards here to get under that lark.
Yeah, I mean, it's the lark has kind of a deserved reputation for being mostly crap, but it's a situational game, and this is the situation when Julius dropped it down, I think is one where it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's kind of, again, something that was picked up in the chat, both kind of unconventional starts and unconventional setups. I think what Funbun has built here is kind of turning into that more conventional wood duck engine. It maybe took a few more turns to set up than usual, but certainly what Julius has got going here, I've never seen anything like this in a tournament game. This is certainly a first for me, but yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what the scores are at the end of this. I mean, I feel like Julius has kind of struggled with some of these end of round goals. Certainly he's going to lose this one. I think he lost the second one as well. And like we talked about, if Funbun's able to get that barn out, or even the canvas back they've picked up, that's a nice option as well with lots of spaces. So yeah, if Funbun's able to win this last end of round goal as well, on top of those nice bonus cards they've got, it feels like a very strong position for them.
Yeah, no, I just want to call out this last play by Julius, because this is something that shows their experience and how they're really playing the situation, and it's something that a lot of players just wouldn't even consider. So that hummingbird, it does go towards their bonus card, but if you look, the feeder had 3 fish in it.
Yep.
And so they're going to be able to use that catbird to to just kind of pick up fish, hammer the pelican, and then that's one fewer egg that they have to
Exactly.
spend from the raven. So like that is just a really savvy, situation specific play there.
Yep, I think you're spot on. I think they're also looking at this Sace Phoebe, so they do have that bowl nest bonus that you mentioned. It's
Oh
the
yeah,
hummingbird's going to
yeah,
help.
yeah.
So if they get this Phoebe down, that's going to help their bonus card. But also, that's a free egg that the hummingbird's getting. And yeah, it's probably one of those where a lot of players wouldn't look at playing that because it's late round 3. I'm only going to get a couple of points, but like you said, that ability to get that extra fish in the feeder, I think earlier on I mentioned, okay, late game they can look at copying this pelican, but then you leave yourself no food from the raven to play other birds. Now they've got the hummingbird, they can still get all those extra tucks on the pelican whilst getting the food they need to get these big point birds down. So yeah, that certainly feels like a smart play.
Yeah, and I hadn't caught on to their other bonus cards, the Prairie Manager and the Bull Nest bonus.
Mm,
But yeah, that says Phoebe's going to hit both of those because if I remember right, I think it's a 33 centimeter. I don't think it qualifies for the passerine, but still, it's going to get them the minimum on that
yeah,
on the Prairie Manager for 3 points. It's going to get them the minimum on the Bull Nest for 4 points, and it's going to get them a bunch of it looks like about be 3 additional eggs right now. So that'll be a nice huge play.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of points. It's a big point bird in its own right, but all those extra eggs, it's going to hit a couple of bonus cards, and yeah, those are the kind of plays you look to get down at the end of the game. But yeah, just going back onto funbun. So they have played the barn owl. It has gone in their grass, and so I think they're probably looking at doing this heron double play, perhaps with the golden eye. That's another one that's got a lot of those cavity nest spaces. But certainly, I think they're at this point now where you're probably not going to score a lot of points running that forest again.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time where you get those last couple of birds down and then spend those last turns laying eggs. At the moment, that bird feeder set up really nicely for those hunting powers they've got. These normally aren't great powers, but if you can maximise your chances and get those 4 dice on the reroll, then certainly you're helping yourself there just in terms of your chances of getting points.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't know off the top of my head the exact numbers on a 4 die reroll. It's probably something what 2/3 or something like that.
I think it's about 50% on the
Oh,
4
50.
dice.
Okay,
That's kind of what it maxes out at. So
gotcha.
yeah, if you've got 2, you're kind of looking at maybe I'll get 1 on that. But yeah, I wonder what Julius is going to do in this position because on the one hand, if you give your opponent free food here, they're going to turn that directly into eggs and score more points that way. But if you don't and you leave the bird feeder as it is, you're helping their hunting powers. So they have gone for the reroll and they've got loads of fish again. So that's exactly what they're looking for. Get all those extra tucks on the pelican. But interesting kind of crossroads here at the moment. They picked up something like the turkey. They might be looking to get that down as well. So this is really the point where you've got 2 or 3 turns to go. There's all these different branches and paths you could go down, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got to work out which is going to score you most points. And yeah, I think that's what Julius is going to have to think long and hard about here.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing this game, right? They did a study where it's like in a grocery store, they set up a stand with like 3 kinds of mustard, and then they set up one with like 20, and of course the one that has only the 3 choices, they just sell a ton more, right? Because it's people get the it's the paradox of choice, right? Or analysis paralysis, and so yeah, it's like when you've got 437 cards like Julius has here. It's you kind of got to narrow down the universe to a
Yeah.
to a, a, a kind of manageable game tree. But yeah.
Yeah, I think probably what they were planning in the first place, that feels like their most sensible option. So they've got the food for this Phoebe, they can get that down, but also they've got that extra food. So if they do want to lay eggs on that last turn, I think they might just about at least be able to tie on this end of round. But it is going to depend kind of on what funbun does. I'd imagine he's going to look to fill up those eggs. But yeah, certainly. Ooh, okay. I'm going to take that back. I'm assuming the Phoebe is going to help meet their small bird bonus.
Yeah.
So again, that's not really an option I'd considered, purely because I can't see all their cards because they've got too many. But yeah, again, that's one of those where you kind of look through. Okay, what meets my birders cards? What can I get down cheaply? And again, it's another bowl nest, so another egg from that Says Phoebe that I'm assuming is going to come next.
Yeah, they've. I don't think there's any assuming about it.
Nope.
If they don't, I will eat the hat that I'm not wearing.
Exactly. Yeah. So we did get a little flash of Julius' score there. It was on the low side, but this Phoebe is a huge point bomb in its own right. But with those bonus cards as well that it's helping meet, I wouldn't be surprised if this is 15 plus points from a single turn, just helping with all those bonus cards. So it feels like a strong move. But yeah, I think funbun has scored a lot of points. Had a really nice end game here. Get some of those big point birds down. Use some success on the hunting, which is nice, and I think they have been able to snatch this last end of round goal. And when you win 3 of those, you're in such a strong position. So scores are going to count up now. We did do a little poll, and funbun came out on top as the favourite to win this. Certainly feels that way. It's going to be interesting how many of these tuck cards Julius is going to get to be able to pull back at the end of the game. But all those eggs from funbun, that almost feels unassailable at this point. And there we have it, 99 to 89. So yeah, 2 very good scores, 2 slightly unconventional starts perhaps, and some interesting plays throughout that second round as they started to set up those engines. But yeah, very very impressive scores, and absolutely well played to funbun. 99 is a really good score, and they take the advantage here. So like I said before, this is a best of 3 series, so it's not over yet. Do stick around. We will be going into game 2 fairly shortly, where Julius will be going first. But yeah, absolutely, all still to play for Julius. They are not out of this yet.
Yeah, what a game! I mean, it was that slow start for Julius on the food front turned out to be just a little too much to overcome. And anytime you get that wood duck pileated woodpecker combination, it's early in the game when you can still do something with it. That's that's always going to be tough to beat. So I'm not surprised by the result, which is not to say that that both players didn't play an excellent game.
No, I think you make a good point. We see it all the time when you get this wood duck and pileated woodpecker. It's such a strong combination. It was maybe slightly later than you'd usually see them set up. The strongest examples are when you can get those both down in that first round and really just start going to town and getting those cards and eggs. But yeah, sort of later in that round 2, you did think it's maybe on the late side, but to still score 99 with a setup like that is very nice. And yeah, I just think they managed the bonus cards well, funbun. They managed those end of round goals. When you win 3 of those, you put yourself in a really nice position. And I think they pivoted at the right time as well, going at the end of the game, getting some eggs, getting points, but also helping again with that last end of round goal. So yeah, I think some really crucial decisions always in that late game. When do I pivot to the grasslands? And certainly feels like they timed that one right.
No doubt. And as Tuck and Cash points out in the chat, it's a illustration of raven digging.
Yeah, we've been talking about that recently. If you've not got the great start that you're looking for, and you haven't really got that food supply, just get some birds down in that wetlands and at least give yourself a chance of finding something like the raven. So yeah, certainly worked out well, I think, for Julius there, getting the raven. But unfortunately, when you come up against that wood duck combination, it is difficult. Anyway, we go into game 2, and I think I saw the woodpecker again in the tray, if I'm not mistaken. But
oh wow, look at this for Julius! I just said, look at this. Do I owe Tay-Ray royalties? Is that?
I don't know if he's got if that's like copyrighted or something. This is on my channel, not his. So I hope he's not going to come and sue me.
Did we put that on the bingo card when he's not commentating? Is that?
I do think it is. There's a couple of things on there that we're still waiting to tick off. But yeah, really really strong start, I think, here for Julius. Those 2 tucking birds are so nice. The food web expert as well, perfect for that martin. And yeah, like I said, we've got the pileated woodpecker again in the tray. Is that something you'd look to go for? Would you pick that up, or would you go for that hermit thrush instead as your forest bird?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, that kind of depends on what you're thinking of doing with with the robin and the martin, right? Are you gonna drop? I know, and you always say it, and you want to try to get that martin into the grasslands because it's just so strong there. Of course, the thing you have to notice, right, is if you put the thrush in the forest, then and your opponent goes heavy on that woodpecker,
Yeah.
and you're building this nice grassland engine. Well, grassland engine, what right? What are you gonna be doing? Generating a lot of eggs. So you're just really gonna have to be careful about managing your egg space with that. I think personally, I default towards the woodpecker in this situation,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I
yeah,
think
not to say that there's not a case to be made for the thrush.
absolutely. All right. Now just looking at Funbun's hand. Probably not the strongest, really strong in terms of wetland birds. I think the grebe and the tern are really nice options, and like we said a couple of minutes ago, if you want to go raven digging, these are the kind of birds you want to play. And 2-star nest as well. It's good for the bonus cards, good for the end of round. But yeah, I think it's a bit unfortunate to not have that forest bird. It's kind of the same as what we saw from Julius last game, but yeah, be interesting to see how they choose to play this one from here.
Yeah, and of course it's interesting that they're not keeping a cherry. See, one situation or one thing that influences my food choices at the beginning, of course, is yeah, you want to, usually you assume that your opponent is going to pick up a strong bird, but you want to try to maybe keep a backup
Yeah.
just in case they don't, because if Julius does choose to skip over the woodpecker, although it doesn't seem like they're going to, but it just kind of can help sometimes to keep that backup there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. But yeah, not surprisingly, Julius does go for the woodpecker. And yeah, I mean, you kind of made some of these points as Julius was picking the starting hand, but the robin and the martin, you normally see that building up a really strong grasslands engine. I'm wondering here if just looking at what Julius has done, I'm not expecting that Caston's finch to go down at all. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they go woodpecker here, they get the grub from the feeder, and then get that robin down in the forest. And suddenly you're getting the tuck card, the cycle, getting points and eggs. And that martin as well, again, another one, normally goes in the grasslands. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if that goes in the wetlands. It's got that flexibility, it's got the cavity nest, which is really nice for working with the woodpecker. And yeah, I think they are going to need some card draw, and if they can pick up something like the coot as well, and they can almost ignore that grasslands, you're getting tuck cards, you're getting points in your wetlands, but also in your forest as well. So certainly some interesting options, I think, for Julius here.
Yeah, and I mean, anytime your hand involves the woodpecker, you're going to be thinking, okay, you don't want to straight up ignore your grasslands if it makes sense not to, but there's just you can put it off a lot longer.
Yep.
And really take advantage of the fact that you're getting eggs and food in this one habitat. So I think the setup that you're proposing, where okay, get the food for the robin, and get that, lay an egg on the woodpecker, get that down, and then start tucking and gaining more food, I think is dead on.
Yep, it certainly feels like a strong start. And yeah, we've got some points in the chat about, okay, with this Marty, do you save it and do you hope, okay, if I'm going to go raven digging and find something, or, for that potential grasslands pivot later, is that something you save? I mean, I think just my view on that, I'd want to get that down. As soon as you see your opponent get these star nests, and with the woodpecker, its real strength is giving you more eggs than your opponent. So if you're only getting one and your opponent's getting one, you're really missing out. But as soon as that martin goes down and you're able to get 2 eggs, it feels like it's worthwhile using again.
Yeah, no doubt. And I also saw in the chat it pointed out about Julius getting that coot.
Yeah.
I think that could be a really strong pickup. I mean, it's great with the robin when you can. Oh, hello.
Lovely draws.
Yeah,
more tucking birds.
No doubt. Yep. Yeah, they just need some way to get food. But, yep. But yeah, when you're tucking birds, I mean, the tucking birds are great because they generate points while you get to see additional cards. But the thing is that you have to, at some point, if you're gonna play a bird, then that's one fewer bird for you to tuck. So having something like the coot or some other wetland bird that's going to help you pick up additional cards is really nice.
Yep, I do wonder if Julius was maybe going to go for the coot, and then they picked up that grackle and thought, no, I'll go for that instead, and just gives themselves the option of getting eggs in a separate habitat. It certainly feels nice. So yeah, certainly they've got some good options there, and yeah, I think funbun, they're probably going to still keep digging a little bit here. I think they are still hoping for something like that nuthatch. If you are seeing 4 cards a turn, chances are you're going to find something like that. Really, you want to get that nice forest bird down. They've already got 1 food, so they can get that down easily. But yeah, I think the longer this kind of goes on and funbun has to keep digging and trying to look for cards, it is a bit frustrating. And certainly you kind of look at what Julius has got, the cards they've got in their hand, the sort of potential they've got for setting up a nice engine. It certainly feels really strong for them at this point.
I mean, how do you feel this is it? Okay, let's say that funbun's gotta take another pull to to look at cards. Let's say they look at 2 cards and then they see a third with the turn, and then so it comes time to activate the grebe. And let's just say they have not seen anything for a forest bird. I mean, how do you feel about grabbing the Siskin at that point? And then because you're going to have some extra cards, you're probably not going to play. There's already you have one grain. There's another grain in the feeder. At least that way you have a forest bird down some. It just is kind of a tempo move, I guess.
Yeah, I certainly don't mind it. I think there is a point that funbun is going to have to make that decision of, I can't just keep gambling and keep digging. There is a perfectly serviceable forest bird there, like you said, the Siskin. It's not everyone's first choice for a forest bird, but funbun's going to have a lot of cards that they're probably not going to be able to play necessarily. That at least is going to help them get points and get extra food, which they're so short of at the moment. And yeah, do you stick or twist? Do you keep digging through the deck? I think at some point funbun is just going to have to be satisfied with the option they've got in the tray.
Yeah, you've got to dance with the one you brought to the dance at some point.
Indeed. Indeed. I just wish that Groove Makes a Dubious Analogy was on the bingo board, but not this time.
Yeah, what was the dubious analogy in the first one? I don't even remember, but
I can't remember. I blocked most of them out, so
fair enough. The brain does do us a favor by repressing trauma. So
it does. So we've got Julius playing that grackle, to no one's surprise really. And yeah, I do wonder, with that coot as well in the tray that we talked about before, I think they could still potentially look to pick that up. And then you've got this kind of forest wetland hybrid sort of semi-full tuck, semi-forest engine going on, where you're getting cards and tucks and eggs in one habitat, and then you're getting food and potentially tucks if they get the robin down, and more eggs as well in your forest. So really it feels like it's set up nicely at the moment for this kind of, I'll ignore the grasslands at all costs at the moment. So yeah, I think like we said before, some really nice options for Julius to consider here.
Yeah, and they keep drawing these food web birds with the the vireo and the swift there. Although the swift, I don't remember what tier that is, but it can't be very high.
No, it falls in a similar category to the Siskin in that if you've got good card draw, it kind of works. Oh, the Tau, he's perfect here for funbun.
Oh,
if they'd waited one more turn and not played that sparrow, they could have got the Taui down. But there you go. That's the game. At some point, like we said, you got to stick or you got to twist, and yeah, you go all over that Taui. And the saving grace, I guess, is that there is at least the seed in the bird feeder to get that down. But yeah, I feel like funbun, they need to prioritize, get this Tauhi, look to get this tucking bird as well, the violet green swallow, in their grasslands, and really start cycling and scoring points in their grasslands and getting food as well.
Yeah. I mean, you get that Taui down and just lay, lady, lay.
Exactly. We have some more tucking birds in the tray, so another full tuck potential bird maybe in the blackbird. So certainly that gives some options. But equally, the warbler, they've already got the American robin, but that could potentially be a nice second option as well. But yeah, Julius kind of scoring lots of points here, which is nice, in the wetlands, and also cycling through some cards. So yeah, at some point they are going to have to go back up to that bird feeder and kind of decide. But certainly looks like they're leaning towards a full tuck situation here.
Sure, and yeah, of course the problem with that they're looking at right now is just they don't have a food bird in that wetland. But I mean,
Yep.
if they can somehow pick up a hummingbird on one of these draws, then yeah, it's pedal to the metal on the full tuck there.
Yeah, I do think they would have maybe benefited slightly if they had got that second forest bird down. It feels at the moment a little bit on the slow slide, just getting that one food. They are at least able to get 2 eggs because they've got the martin down, which is nice. But yeah, if you throw the robin on top of that, or just something as your second forest bird, at least you're able to get more food. But both players at the moment are kind of seeing this problem of really struggling with the food. Just kind of looking at what funbun's done. So I noticed they picked up the cherry on the last turn. I'm wondering if they're going to go for the Tauhi in the forest with that Vireo as a double play and just at least give themselves that food draw that I was just saying they're really missing, and hopefully be able to get some more food quickly. I mean, what do you think of that? Normally the Tauhi is something that we say automatically goes in the grasslands, but maybe is it going to work in the forest here?
Yeah, I mean, I think in this scenario, because you look at, okay, what's the next bird after a food bird, right? What's the next bird that you really want to get down? It's that swallow.
Yeah.
And so I think, but because it's, it takes two grubs, you would have to. There's actually not. I don't even think you have enough egg space because that grasshopper sparrow is giving you extra eggs. Like you can't generate the food that way, and so I think it does make a lot of sense actually to you drop the Vireo down. I mean that's a third bird towards your bonus. It qualifies for some of the end of rounds, and it's going to help you. Most importantly, it's going to help you. I think get that swallow down in the quickest possible way. And so yeah, ideally you want the Tauhi to go down in grasslands, I guess in the abstract, but in this situation I think they're going to get built out a lot faster because ultimately the end game for funbun is going to be in the grassland.
Yeah.
And so they want to get that built out. They want to get the swallow down, and just really start tucking some cards and gaining points that way. So yeah, I actually I think that this is the right move they're making.
Yep. I mean, when that Tauhi came up, I think my instant reaction, like most, is, oh, that's such a nice grassland bird. Get that down, and you get the eggs and the food at the same time. But yeah, certainly at the moment, like you said, kind of when you're short of food, getting that down in the forest, they're able to get the 3 food a turn. Quite unfortunate with the reroll there, not a single grub, which is very unlikely. So unfortunate, but they'll be able to make that work. And I think that, like you said, you want to get that violet green swallow down as soon as possible, just to really start running that grasslands. It's going to help with your bonus card. It's going to help get you a lot of points and cycle through. Some of these other birds like the cowbird that they're probably not going to want to play. You can turn those into other cards that are hopefully going to work with your setup a bit better.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, get the swallow down. Your final play, you're gonna pick up 4 eggs. You're gonna win the end of round, and you're gonna get to tuck a card. So it's a nice big play there to finish off the round, and you're set up nicely for round 3.
Absolutely. Now, just looking back over at Julius, so they have kind of pivoted fully towards this full tuck, and it just looks really strong at the moment. They've got it set up really quickly. Considering that actually full tuck wasn't their priority at the start. It wasn't like, oh, I've got these great tucking birds, I must get these down as my first few turns. They went with the woodpecker and started trying to set something up there. I think the speed they've got this set up, it's a 6 points activation, that with all the tucks and the eggs, cycling through cards, looking at more cards. When you're able to score 6 points from a turn in round 2, and there's the hummingbird that you're looking for.
Yep.
This is going to be so difficult, I think, for funbun to come back from. The hummingbird is going to help, I think, funbun. Just get some of that extra food that maybe they've been missing. So they're by no means out of it, but Yeah, that's kind of exactly the bird I think that Julius was looking for, and
These, yeah,
yeah, yeah, it feels like a
these
strong
are,
position.
yeah, these are the birds you were looking for. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, and smart there. You know, he could have gone for the tuck, but I think he really wants that Vireo. You know, like you said before, helps with the food web expert. But it's going to help with some of those end of round goals on top of giving you an extra bonus card. So feels like a smart play keeping hold of that.
Oh,
Oh, and
absolutely.
there's another
Yeah,
one. The hooded
there's a
warbler just pops
warbler.
up. So,
Uh-huh.
yep, I think,
Oh,
yeah.
here you go.
Here's another one. So, yeah,
Yeah.
probably Julius would have been planning to go for food here, just to at least get that hummingbird down as soon as possible. But when you see the warbler, I think you have to prioritise that. You know, that hummingbird can wait a turn if it means you can get something like the warbler. And yeah, I think he needs to kind of maybe look at getting eggs down. I'm not sure about this end of round situation. I think he can tie it with 2 eggs on those tuck cards on the blackbird and the grackle. So certainly, by all
No,
accounts,
no,
well,
yeah,
how
no,
many?
no tie. Is Funbun's got 3-star nests,
Ah, yes, yeah.
but nonetheless, I mean, he'll certainly qualify for it. So, but yeah, I mean,
Now,
this is such a big play. 6 points, and you get
mm,
to pick up the warbler. Yeah.
yeah, he's not going for it though. So he has gone for the food. I'm assuming here he's gonna skip that woodpecker just because he's only gonna get 1 egg from it, so it doesn't feel worth it. But
Mm.
yeah, it's, you know, you have these kind of dilemmas. We've talked about it before. You know, do I stick or do I twist? You know, I think it probably was worth that 1 turn of missing that hummingbird to get that warbler down. You know, such a strong point engine. It maybe they are just looking here. Okay, I really want to get that hummingbird down as soon as possible. You know, we're getting into that sort of mid to late game where you want everything set up. So I can't blame them really for looking to get this hummingbird down, but that warbler does feel like a bit of a miss.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like one of those. Yeah, I was gonna say, change it to the wheat, dude.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it feels like one of those kind of close calls. Probably not a big
Mm,
mistake
yeah, yeah.
either way. But you just have to ask yourself, what's the value of that extra turn, right? What bird are you gonna play or pick up that's gonna fit so well? I mean, 9 points for 2 food, especially when you consider with the thing with a full tuck like this where you're only getting one food per pull, right? Is you're not going to be able to play probably any of those big like 3 point or big three big point 3 food birds, right? You're not going to be able to get many of those down. So I think getting 9 points or for 2 food there, I think for me I would consider it worth it, but it's probably not a big swing either way.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not. It's by no means a blunder, but certainly, you know, when you do have a full tuck, like you say, you kind of want those real point efficient scores that are going to get 4 or
Mhm.
5 points for a single food. But yeah, so we did have the fish crow that popped up at the start of this second round, and unsurprisingly, funbun's all over that. I think that's exactly the bird they're looking for. You know, they're already starting to get to close to filling up on those egg spaces. Fish crow is going to help
Mhm.
with that. It's going to help get extra food, and kind of along with this hummingbird that they know their opponent's going to be activating a lot. It's really going to help them. You know, they'll be able to get that puffin down no problem. That's a lot of points. They've also got another
For
warbler
sure.
themselves, so yeah, they've got some really nice options here. And I don't know if it's too late for them to come back. It's a really nice setup that they're going to be able to build here. But I just kind of look back every so often at what Julius has got in that wetlands, and you know, during that house run as well, absolutely perfect for the bonus card. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
really nice pulls here. But you know, when you have a wetlands like this where you're able to look at 4, 5, 6 cards a turn, you're able to cycle through the crap and be able to get those birds you want to play. So yeah, certainly a strong position for Julius.
Yeah, gosh, that house rent is huge. I mean, when they combine that with the Vireo, that's got the potential to be a 12 point or more play.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got the Raven again, so maybe a little bit too late on this one. Maybe if they'd drawn that before the Hummingbird, they could have looked to get that down. But yeah, you know, they've got some other nice birds there. That other Warbler they've just picked up, you know, it may be a bit expensive, but again, 8 points, nice point bomb. It's the kind of bird you look to play late in the game. So yeah, certainly some really nice options that Julius has given themselves here.
Yeah, and that's one of the strengths of these wetland uh, engines is you just get to you get to go through so many cards and just kind of
Mm,
pick and choose. Like your chances of getting stuff that's gonna end in good place for you are just so high.
absolutely. So we sadly see the Raven tucked, but that makes sense.
Aww.
No real need to play it at the moment. They did pick up the Cowbird as well, which Tuck and Cash point out in the chat. Um, yeah, again, is that maybe too late? You look at their bowl nest spaces. Are they going to fill those up too easily already with the tuck cards? It certainly isn't a bad option. But yeah, when you have such limited food from the hummingbird, certainly they're going to prioritize. I want to get that wren and vireo down. That's already 3 food. How many more
Mhm.
turns do I have here to gain the necessary food to play something like cowbird, or is it worth cycling through and going for some more point efficient plays?
Yeah, I mean, again, we find ourselves looking at the those wanting those food efficient birds when you can only
Mm,
be getting one food a turn,
yep.
and yeah, so I mean, I still think as Julius is in a very strong position here, and uh, you know Fonbon certainly put up a hell of a fight, and they've still got a shot. I mean, I'm by no
Mm.
means ruling them out. But yeah, it does look like Julius has quite a quite the strong setup here.
Yeah, I think some nice bonus cards are going to help Funbun. They did play the Condor just there and got the Ecologist, which he is probably perfect what they're looking for. That Puffin was already going to be going down, so that's 6 points from the Ecologist. I think they have already got the lower threshold on the Nest bonus,
Hmm.
so potentially, with that Puffin and the Star Nest, maybe if they get another bird that's going to help meet that, and obviously the Puffin itself is going to give a nice bonus card, so it could well come down to that because, yeah, Julius, he's going to score okay on his own bonus card, but you see he keeps picking up these nice birds like the crane and some of these other real point efficient ones. He's already filled up his
Hmm.
wetlands, so really got to keep digging for other birds there.
Yeah, I mean, boy, does Funbun want the fishery manager here or what?
Yeah. Ooh, you take that, wildlife gardener. 4
Oh, not
points.
bad,
And he's
not
already
bad.
got the other
Uh
warbler
huh.
that he's looking to play. So if you get that warbler down and then another star nest bird that's going to help
Oh,
both of those
bingo.
bonuses, you're in business. So yeah, he's got a few more shots. I certainly wouldn't imagine he's going to need to gain cards again. Cycling through with the cowbirds and the swift, it should be enough. But yeah, it's going to come down to what he can get on that draw, and it's not going to be a bad score by any stretch of the imagination here from Funbun, but it's going to
Mm-mm.
be difficult to compete with Julius because he's just been consistently scoring 5 or 6 points, for the last round and a bit really, and he's still got all of these nice plays to come. So yeah, again, it might come down to what Julius can get from bonus cards like the Vireo here. Oh, absolute
Oh.
dream bird counter. Yep, that's what you want. Yeah, when you're running a full tuck. Not many better bonus cards than that, so that might just be the nail in the coffin there. If Julius drew a blank or maybe only got 1 or 2 points from that bonus card, maybe Funbun's still in it, but that's a huge play right there. Yeah, that's scoring double-digit points for just 3 food, and yeah, that could be difficult to come back from.
Well, there's yeah, I think at this point it's we're in all likelihood looking at a game three. That swallow is a nice pickup though.
Indeed. So he did go for cards there, which is interesting. I did say before maybe he didn't need to go for cards again. Maybe could have cycled through. But if that has helped get that swallow, and yeah, we mentioned before you're looking for that star nest bird. It feels weak on the surface. Single point late in the game. Is it really worth playing? But if it's going to score another 3 points from each of those 2 bonus cards, then yeah, feels like a must play for me at this point.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And then yeah, plus you get that you look to play that, you look to play the warbler, and then I think you just kind of run your grassland to get you to that point.
Indeed. How
and
often
that,
do you see that re-roll on the bird feeder and you get you get 5 seeds? Quite unusual.
there was a game I was playing the other day where the bird feeder started with 5 grub in it, and I was like, please give me the flicker, please,
Yeah.
please, please.
Yeah, it never comes up when you need it to. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. But yeah, interesting that Julius did choose to go for food. I guess now they have at least got the wren and the vireo down. You know, they have got those extra nest spaces to use the woodpecker. So you know, they are still scoring points. And you know, like we mentioned before, if you want to try and get some of these big point birds down, and you're only gaining 1 food a turn from that tucking setup, it does feel a bit slow. But certainly, you know, with that extra food, I would imagine they're going to look to get something like this warbler down. But you know, maybe it's not too late for the cowbird as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the warblers is mandatory play. I mean, if
Yeah.
when you're looking, so not only is it going to be 6 points after the eggs on its own right, but also it's going to be another 3 when you factor in the end of round. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be one that you're really looking to get down.
Yep. And I think you know, just looking at the way Julius has set this up, I think they've set this up quite nicely. Where you know they've cleared off all of those spaces on the blackbird and the grackle, so now they
Mm-hmm.
can easily go through that wetlands 3 times. You're getting 3 food, you're getting 6 points, all the tuck cards and the eggs, and that 3 food. They only need 1 worm, so they can take the seed from the plenty of choice in the bird feeder, and then you just prey on that re-roll. But they give themselves time with that hummingbird. So yeah, I think you're right. That warbler's kind of mandatory. I think they're probably expecting that another forest bird is going to come down from funbun. Obviously, we know with the warbler in their hand, that's almost certainly going to go down. But yeah, you want to at least give yourself the option of tying that last end of round
Yeah, and I
roll.
mean, yeah, and Julius is going to get, they're going to get the max value on that tucking engine every play.
Yep.
um, and yeah, and they've still got a couple of egg spaces to accommodate the cowbird outside of their tucking birds. So I think it's a really, really strong finish for them.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing they will have to be a little bit careful of, and obviously we did see this a little bit in the last round when they chose to gain food rather than gain cards, is that you know every time they're using this hummingbird, it is giving food to funbun as well. You know, they have got a nice option there in the spotted owl. You know, potentially that
Mm-hmm.
might be something they could look to play, but I would imagine even at this point, you know, that grasslands, assuming they've got the egg space, which it looks like they should be okay, that's a 7 point activation. There's very few birds at this point that you'd be able to score more than 7 points from. So, you know, it keeps their options open if they do get some of this food, but it certainly feels like the strategy here for funbun is I just need to lay eggs and get this warbler down.
Yeah, I mean, lay eggs, get the food for the warbler, get the grub, and then maybe they hope that on the next hummingbird activation, the rodent falls to them, and then because I mean, a fun one, they can look at the score and look at the boards and,
Yep.
and kind of see that they're probably behind. So get that warbler down. That's going to be a nice big double digit play. Get the spotted owl down. I mean, I don't know, hope for something like like that fishery manager,
Mm.
like that. They might even be maxed out on like the backyard birder or something. I mean, it's the scenario where you would just look to run your engine if you knew the game was close, but funbun may realize they you know they're they kind of if they think they need to Hail Mary at this point, then you'd certainly look to get that owl down for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you know, in a game like this where you kind of feel like you're chasing a little bit and trying to catch up, I always feel like it's worth going for those risky bonus card plays. You know, like we said, 7 points from the grasslands. That owl is, after egg cost, is going to be 3 plus a bonus, so you're looking at more than 4 points. You know, they've got 5-star nests, so certainly
Right.
got some options there. You know, like say fishery manager. You know, even something like the forester, they might. I don't know. There's a few options certainly.
Sure. Well, and oh, sorry.
No, go on.
Oh, just gonna say, yeah, and they're looking at Julius continues to get food, so they've got to be thinking, okay, Julius has another bird that's coming down the pike, so that's going
Absolutely.
to add for funbun another 3 points in value to that spotted owl play.
For sure. Yep, that's a good pickup. That end of round passed me by, but yeah, with all these with all these rodents, I think certainly that owl is going down. And yeah, I don't think Julius has got any of those double birds. No, so that warbler is going to be their final play, I'd imagine. But yeah, funbun giving a little flash of the score there. They're already on 90, so I think after the owl and the end of round, that's already going to put them over 100. So
Mm-hmm.
really, it is all going to come down to this bonus card, and Julius themselves giving us a little flash there on 95. So this is going to
Yeah.
be very close. I put a little poll up just to see who our viewers think are going to win. We've got 10 votes so far, and they are all for
Oh,
Julius. So
oh,
yeah, that's
the omnivore. Mm.
yeah, not the time you want to see the omnivore. But still a couple of points. I don't know. It's going to be close. I feel like Julius is probably just going to nick it with this warbler play at the end. But given given how comprehensively everyone's voting for Julius, it certainly doesn't feel like it's going to be that sort of landslide that people
No,
think
no,
it's going to
no.
be.
No, but having gotten up here at the
Mm.
scores, I mean, we can see it. Julius is probably going to win by about 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, like we said, it kind of comes down to that bonus card. If funbun draws Fishery Manager and scores 8 points, yeah, maybe that's enough to sneak a win there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
certainly as the scores cat up here, it's going to be close. Funbun is obviously going to build a lead here with the bonus cards, the end of round goals, and the eggs. But it's all going to be about those tucks that Julius is going to bring it back with here. So let's see as they count up. And he does
Wow.
just about nick it, 105 to 102. So yeah, a slightly better bonus card at the end, maybe for funbun, and he could squeeze the win out there. But
Yeah.
very very well played again from both players. 2 scores over 100. That's always impressive.
Yeah, I mean, what a match! They, not that we're surprised. These are two of the better players on the Discord,
Absolutely.
and it was an incredible game.
Indeed it was. So, I did say this before the stream, but yeah, two very very evenly matched players, and it always had a feeling of going to game 3, because when you do get two strong players like this that are very evenly matched, you kind of expect some real close fights, and yeah, we've certainly seen that in these first 2 games, and yeah, we do go to game 3. The way this works for this tournament is that whoever has the better point difference is going to go first in that game 3. So I think it was a 10-point difference for funbun in game 1. Obviously only 3 points here for Julius, so funbun will be going first. I will just check in with the players and see if we're ready to go for game 3. But yeah, do please stick with us. 2 very very strong games if you're just joining us. But yeah, certainly when it comes down to this deciding game 3, all or nothing, yeah, I'm expecting a good showing again from these 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Tuck and Cash points out, Julius making their name back-to-back full Tuck. I mean, that's they're maybe they know that you're commentating, and they're just kind of paying tribute, or
Well, I think we don't often see full tucks on these streams. I think it is one of those that's very situational if you get the right birds for it. Certainly, as I said in game 1, it felt more unconventional than most. But I think this
oh yeah,
second game certainly, from round 3 onwards, was kind of prototypical full tuck. You're getting 5 or 6 points a turn, getting all those tuck cards, eggs, and food from the hummingbird. That's what you want to be doing. And you see at the end there, Julius has scored respectably in all the categories, but when you get 31 tuck cards compared to 6 for your opponent, you're always going to be able to bring it back at the end. And yeah, I always like seeing a couple of full tucks, so we'll have to wait and see if we go 3 for 3 on the full tucks on this stream.
no doubt. And I love the unconventional moves. I mean, I know you and I, when we've chatted before, and I've said, like, the longer I play this game, the more frequently I find myself doing unconventional moves, or a move that, like, this is just not kind of the classic like, oh, just spam eggs in your grassland or whatever. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that first game was really oh, hello.
Oh, you can stop talking now
Oh,
because we've got
wait,
a raven.
can I say, oh, look at this?
Oh, look at this. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. Get that out of the way now. Yeah. Wow. That's what you want to see if you're fun bun. Fairly straightforward. I haven't seen the tray, so I don't know if they do have a nice. Oh, Martin.
Oh, and the Martin, hello.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, what more do you want? I think. Yeah, Martin and Raven on its own is so strong. I don't know. Maybe I'd look at ditching a sparrow, but I guess it's nice for that first end of round goal at least as well. And you know, if it's something to feed the Raven, you at least don't feel like you're missing out on points. But yeah, we can see Funbun hovering his mouse over Martin. Very excited to see that. Interesting. I guess it's Eulogist. I was going to say, why wouldn't you keep the food web expert here? But yeah, Eulogist is a straightforward keep there. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's automatic 6 points for everybody but Elsie.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, when you're running Grasson's engines that have Raven and Martin, you know, as long as you can get the card draw to support that and you're able to cycle through, getting 9 birds down is not a problem at all. So, yeah, take a look at Julius. Not great. Hummingbird is okay, but I guess it's a nice counter to the Raven. Not that they know that, but not really a whole lot else there that you'd get excited about.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, that's so tough. I mean, you got to look. I have to think, you know, and they're going to figure, okay, that Martin's not going to be there.
Yep.
You know, the loon, the kite, those are, you know, those are both these 1 egg birds. I mean, the kite can be an okay starter just because it's so cheap.
Yep.
You know, it helps you build out there, but yeah, this is some much less fun starting hand for Julius for sure.
Yeah, certainly it feels a little bit more bleak. I'm looking at that sparrow, the migrating bird, and think, you know, is that a potential option they could look at? I always feel like when I have a really bad starting situation like this, but I have a migrating bird, it's something to lean on at least. You know, it maybe has some utility, and I'm just looking at those end of round goals, those first 2 in particular. It looks strong for those. So, you know, do you tend to look to play these migrating birds, or are they more of a last resort?
Well, I mean, I think they can be good for exactly the scenario what you describe, where I might look to, okay, say you keep the hummingbird, the kite, and the sparrow, and the kite, you know, if you would be keeping so that you could get either some more eggs or some more food in your forest as you jump back and forth. Uh, so yeah, I think, and it's unfortunate they didn't pull the omnivore bonus, which is something you always want to see with those hummingbirds. The breeding manager, as we know, is a on the in the toilet bowl tier of bonus cards.
Yeah, I think it's probably the better option of the two. Maybe they can make it work, and you know, I think breeding manager again would maybe make me lean towards the sparrow because at least you have something that's going to work with that. But yeah, certainly
Yeah.
from what Julius is going for, it feels like they're going to do the whole get the hummingbird down in the wetlands, and yeah, just try and dig. You know, they know that Martin's going, so can they get a rule 16 here? No, quail probably not what they're looking for.
No, and Funbun is going to be really happy to see that hummingbird, just because they don't have a forest bird. They're going to want to be spending as little time in that forest as possible,
Absolutely.
to get the food for that raven. So yeah, they can kind of get the martin down, get the sparrow down, hold on to that rodent, and figure, yeah, I'm going to get the food I need by the time this round is over to get the raven to start round 2 with the house rule.
Yep. And I do wonder, seeing that hummingbird down, it is a wetland bird. You know, do you maybe look to go for the common loon here? As I say that, they go for the martin in the wetland. So, yeah, interesting. I feel like martin and raven is such a strong combination, but maybe they're having second thoughts about that kind of, you know, I want that I want that wetland card draw. You know, I need something to get cards to play along with the food that I get from the raven. But yeah, I mean, just coming back to your point on the hummingbird, it's something that you do often find with that kind of round one raven. You know, what do you do for that first round? You know, you want to do something. You want to feel like you're scoring points, getting cards. You don't want to be spending 2 turns gaining 1 food a turn just to get that raven down. It does feel a bit slow. At least, I guess, with this situation, you know, they can go for cards in that wetlands and try and cycle through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the raven, of course, it's always about making sure that you have a good setup to see a lot of cards, and so one of the benefits of this hummingbird and not having to spend time focusing on food is they can get these eggs down and yeah, just start looking at cards. I mean, maybe they get they get lucky and pull something like the grebe or something that's going to allow them to look at a lot of cards, or maybe they get really lucky and pull a go or something. So
Mm.
uh, yeah, I think that hummingbird was just so huge for funbun, and yeah, they're just going to be able to get about you know uh, maybe nine cards or so, 12 cards before the round's over, and that's a lot of opportunity there to pick up something that's going to help you out.
Yep, I mean we talk about this hummingbird, but on that last term where Julius did go for cards, they did actually skip the hummingbird. So I think maybe they're kind of looking at their situation and thinking, you know, I've got food. I mean, obviously they don't know about the raven, but even just on the surface, you kind of look at what your opponent's doing. You think they have got no forest birds. So as soon as you see your opponent with that weak access to
Hmm.
food, deny, deny, deny. I think for as long as Julius has got a good enough food source themselves. I mean, they pick up such a nice card in the Forcer's turn, but they've already got the worm because they kept that in their starting hand. So you know they can get that down, and then they can think later. Okay, you know, is this the right time to use the hummingbird, or do I keep skipping it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I would say, depending on the status of the feeder, I would would like the red-headed woodpecker as well, but
Mm.
the feeder, unfortunately, is
Yeah,
set up about as bad as it possibly can be for that.
indeed. And I think again, you know, when you see, okay, I've got no forest and my opponent's got no forest, you know, when you don't have that real ability to cycle through the bird feeder, and it does get stuck in situations like this more often than not when you have something like the woodpecker, then yeah, you kind of it would be a nice bird to play, absolutely, you know, 100% agree with that, but if definitely the situation and kind of the way the boards are set up, it's unfortunate for them. But yeah, I think smart plays here from Julius. You know, they've got the quail down, they've got an eye on this end of round goal. Okay, I can win that, I can get lots of eggs, and then get this Foster's turn down. It's a nice position. You know, they get that card cycle like we mentioned, and then they can, you know, make a decision call. You know, do I use this hummingbird, or do I feel like it's right to continue skipping?
Right. Yeah. Well, at this point, it kind of looks like I mean, they have no food, so they're gonna have to keep using it at least once,
Yeah.
which of course is good for Funbun, because Funbun is one food short of a full deck, but I don't know what that means.
I'll take over then. I think Funbun is maybe, you know, played it safe. They could have risked not getting that extra food. I think certainly if you're Julius and you look at what your opponent's doing, you go, okay, they haven't got any forest bird. They've just picked up food twice to leave themselves with a rodent and 2 other food. You know, there's not many other birds they'd be looking to play at the start of round 2 than a raven. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think the writing is probably a little bit clear there for Julius that raven's going down. But yeah, I just kind of look at the other birds that Funbun has managed to pull, and I think they've got some nice options. Certainly, that falcon is a really good one. It's got flexibility. You know, maybe they add that as their second wetland bird, but equally, it's a nice grassland engine building bird. And obviously the turkey as well. You know, when you've got such easy access to food from the raven, getting those big point birds down is not a problem at all. So yeah, I think Funbun fairly straightforward in this round 2. You know, get that raven down, try and get some food, and yeah, hopefully get some more big point birds. maybe they'll have their eye on that Gallinule.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that
Yeah.
Gallinule will be a great pickup for them, especially since they've got 3 food for the Raven plus the cherry. They could get that Gallinule down really quickly.
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of those that Julius is going to look at denying. Interesting, he's going for the Swift. Maybe he's kind of thinking, run that kind of hybrid between the grasslands and the wetlands. That Goldeneye is a really nice pickup. I think as soon as they see the Raven come down, that's probably going to be a priority for them to just counter with that. But yeah, they've not gone for the Gallinule, so certainly if I'm funbun, I'm going for that. Like you said, you've already got the cherry, you're getting plenty more free food from your opponent here, and then that Raven is just going to help even more. So yeah, really a really nice card, and exactly I think what funbun would have been looking for.
Yeah, and I think that's a mandatory pickup. And another thing too. I mean, you're looking at for the second end of round, you're looking at 7 egg spaces versus at least 4 for right now for your opponent. So.
Okay, he's gone for the hawk. And he's revealed the other Raven.
Oh no!
Ouch! And there's a rodent in the feeder, so Julius can go all in on that. And yeah, we have a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Not funbun would have what he would have wanted to reveal there, but yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're going to have 2 players who are most likely both going to play Ravens on back-to-back turns. And then from there, it is just going to be a race to see who can get this grassland set up, who can get the big point birds down. We see both players have already got some nice options. So yeah, strap yourselves in. This is going to be an absolute doozy, I think.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And see, the Gallinule in this, in this scenario, right? It's going to benefit both of them with that additional card. So
yeah,
I would really be surprised if somebody doesn't pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with something like the Gallinule when both players have that Raven, because like you say, it's something that you want to play yourself to help your own card draw. But actually, if I'm in this situation, I think I wouldn't mind if my opponent picks that up as well, because they are going to be giving me food. So we might get a little bit of a sort of Mexican standoff here where both players try and leave it for the other. Certainly neither of them are biting at the moment, but yeah, I would be really surprised if one of them doesn't get that down. You mentioned before it's got those 4 egg spaces for that end of round, and 7 points, it's a really strong point scoring bird in its own right, even ignoring all the other obvious benefits. So yeah, certainly it looks like funbun is kind of going to try and get this falcon and this hawk down. They're certainly not bad options, but yeah, that Gallinule, it's still staring at me in the tray as a really nice bird to pick up.
I just want to tell you how happy I am to hear you use Mexican standoff. That's just such a great phrase, and like, I'm not sure, we've got the kind of international element. I mean, I'm not sure which phrases are uniquely American and which ones are also used across the pond. So I'm in stitches.
It's a cultural lesson as well as a Wingspan one. So yeah, we like to keep it entertaining.
Yeah, we don't always succeed at that, but we certainly try to.
We try our best. No. All right, so funbun, they kind of seem to be going all in on this grassland. So already got the falcon down. Obviously, this hawk as well, like the falcon, it can go grasslands or wetlands. Do you prioritize here, getting it down in that grasslands and just building that up, or would you look to at least get that second wetland bird option down to let you see more cards?
Yeah, I mean, I would be wanting to see more cards for sure, but it looks like that's not the approach that funbun's taking, and it's fine. I mean, it's not that that this approach is bad. I do think you're looking at birds that don't offer a lot of egg spaces.
Yep.
And with that sparrow, even when you use the raven, I mean, you're gonna fill up a 30-year egg capacity every time. So they're gonna really want to get something, maybe that turkey or something down. Oh, going for the ibis. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind the ibis. Yeah, I mean, you make some really good points there. I mean, four eggs a turn, you're filling up those egg spaces so quickly. Yeah, I think that ibis is going to be a priority. Obviously, they have already got 1 worm, so they can look to get the extra food for that. But again, it's a bird with only 2 egg spaces, so it's going to limit their options. I think really that turkey is going to be key. If they can, I think that priority afterwards, get the ibis down, but then look to go for that double play. Woodpecker and turkey in the forest. They've got lots of empty spaces there. It's going to clear up lots of egg spaces and score lots of points. So certainly that feels like a good option for funbun here.
Yeah. Now wait. Now apparently, according to Elsie in the chat, my dialect rambling gave them a bingo. So
I'm not sure which one that was. That just someone's rambling
or commentator gets distracted.
Did we get distracted? Maybe you got distracted. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, we do have a bingo. It took halfway through game 3, so maybe a little bit longer than usual. But I don't know if that reflects well on us or badly. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of it. But there you go.
Well,
we do have a bingo.
Yeah, score difference. OP Bird played free space. So commentator gets distracted in economics. Only 2 of the 5 were our fault. The other 2 we can blame on the players.
That's fine. I'm fully on board with that. All right.
My conscience is clear.
Yeah, indeed. So just looking at Julius, so they did go for the Swift on their last turn, which is interesting. Normally you kind of see that played when you have particularly strong access to cards. Obviously they have plenty in their hand, and when you get to that late point in the game where you have got lots of excess cards, it makes sense to be able to turn those into points. But I do wonder if that, by playing that, it's going to force them to maybe use that wetlands too many times. But yeah, they've got some nice options. I think I saw a couple of bonus card birds in there at least to get down. So yeah, those probably are their priorities. And yeah, anything else is going to go under that Swift.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think their bonus is Nest Box. And so
yeah.
So yeah, so the Swift would be the 3rd bird for that, and then you could look at something like the red cockaded woodpecker, which is going to fulfill that bonus card and give you another. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I think they did reveal the great egret, which funbun, yeah, rightfully so, jumping all over that, and yeah, with the whooping crane as well. That's so nice. 6 food that you can easily get from that raven. That's only a few turns. It's what 3 turns of laying eggs. And those egg laying turns, they're already scoring, 5, 6, 7 points, and then bam, double play like that at the end, big points, bonus card. That's exactly what you're looking for with a Raven setup like this.
Yeah, 100%. Although the funbun has got to make sure to get a bull nest bird down at some point to qualify for this end of round.
It's a good point. They've not really got great options. That blue jay, it's only 3 points and 2 food. And you think, okay, well, it becomes 6 points because I'm getting, that 3 from the end of round. I do think maybe on that last turn where they did draw cards, they thought, right, this will be my last turn drawing cards. I've just got to gamble, see what I get from the deck. They've not seen what they wanted. The option's still there. I think they could still look to play it, but I question if it's worth it. Even with those 3 extra points, it still comes short of just playing something like the turkey on its own.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it would also, if they put that down with, they could be looking at putting it down with what I believe is the downy woodpecker there, and help them make some progress towards the last end of round as well, because they are going to need a forest bird at some point.
Yep.
So, that I think maybe tilts the balance just slightly more in favor of that blue jay.
Yeah,
so
it's a good point, and I think that's partly why they played it. And yeah, I mean, you kind of look at Julius's board as well. They've got the very similar setup of heavy grasslands, a few in the wetlands, but nothing in that forest. Certainly, we know at least that woodpecker's going to go down for 1. But yeah, on that last turn, we saw Julius play the pipit, and they got wetland scientist. So by no means a terrible bonus card. I think they will be looking to play that rotate spoonbill in any case. So you get those 3 points by default, because they were going to play it anyway. So not a bad pull. Maybe could have hoped for something better, but actually, you look at the birds with only 7 birds down. There's kind of no obvious ones with just a single star nest that they could have looked to max out there.
Yeah, and I mean, anytime, and I know this is something of a, this is a drum that I like to beat a lot, but you anytime you get a bonus card that fills your other bonus cards,
Mm,
and is going to give you one, that's always a nice spot to be in, because you've got something that is a reasonable play in its own right, but that has that really big payoff potential.
absolutely. And yeah, that spoon bill, they'll get that down straight away. And again, not the greatest of bonus
Mhm.
cards. A couple of 2.1s. They're it's toss up really. I guess the rodentologist at least gives you the option of, okay, maybe I want to play that hawk in that last round to steal the end of round, or at least qualify and help yourself in that. So yeah, not great. They probably would have been hoping for something better there.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they can hope. You figure they're going to play this red cockaded woodpecker at some point. I mean, maybe they can pick up a forest bonus or something even then, but
Yeah,
that would be a few extra points. But yeah, certainly not what they were looking for.
no, no. But I think both players. They're obviously going to score well. I think anytime you have a strong Raven setup like this, where you look at funbun, they've got the hunting birds that are going to get them points. You look at Julius, he's got the swift for tuck cards and the golden eye as well, with those extra eggs. So both players, they're scoring lots of points in those grasslands while also getting the food to play these big point birds. It does feel like again it's going to be quite close. I will put up a poll just to see what our viewers think. To me, it kind of feels like funbun's in the stronger position. Just kind of looking at those birds, it's very obvious from that last round what they need to do. Get these big point birds down and hope for a nice bonus card on the crane. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Who are you backing at the moment?
Well, I agree. I think Funbun's in the stronger position. I mean, they've got the food lined up to do the woodpecker turkey double play, and that's going to give them, as you can see, they're short.
Yeah,
They're short on egg space right now. That turkey is going to give them lots of egg space to be able to get the additional food that they need for the egret crane play. So I think it's a really really strong setup for them here, and I think I would give Funbun the edge at this point.
yep, yeah. And I just think another thing to kind of pick up on is I think the way funbun has planned this out is so smooth. That woodpecker in turkey is going down at the perfect time, just when you need those egg spaces. But not only that, you then give yourself a few turns to lay eggs, get the egret and the crane down, and you've used all your cards. You're not left with anything left over. Just looking back on Julius, I did pick this up earlier. I did wonder if they were going to have to spend a couple of turns drawing cards, and when you've got such a strong point scoring engine in your grasslands, it always feels like a waste having to spend those extra turns drawing cards. And they spent one turn at the end of the last round and another one at the start of this. So that's two turns where they didn't score any points. Whereas Funbun running through this grasslands and playing these big point birds, feels a lot stronger at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that's one thing you've talked about, right? Is wanting to be able to get that option to draw cards first
Yeah,
as the round turns over. And so anytime, I mean, I'm always a little bit cautious or biased against drawing cards on the last turn of a round, just for exactly that reason. It's like, if
yeah.
unless something great pops up, you want to try to leave yourself, if you can, the option to get something once you see some better cards. But
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to agree with that. I don't like drawing cards on that last turn unless something amazing pops up, or something I've been leaving and thinking, and okay, now I've played a certain bird that's got me a bonus card that works with this. It's situational, but most of the time, you want to set yourself up to draw cards at the start of that next round. I think what Julius did is they kind of panicked and thought, oh, I'm going to need some cards, I better draw now. And then we went over to the start of the next round and some more nice birds came up, and they thought, well, I'm going to have to draw again. So yeah, maybe one too many turns drawing cards there, and yeah, every turn you're drawing cards that you're left over at the end, that was a turn you could have spent laying eggs and scoring points or playing another bird. So a little bit of missed potential, but just kind of based on what Funbun's been able to do in this last round, certainly feels like they're in the driving seat at the moment.
yeah, and it looks like is I don't know if Julius is going to be able to match them for that last end around.
No, I think they saw the titmouse. I think that was the bird that came up in the tray this round that kind of prompted them to draw cards again. So yeah,
Oh no, you know
again,
what? They are actually. I stand corrected because they got that Cooper's Hawk,
mm,
which with the rodentology bonus would would turn into a 7 point play if they're if they do end up tying with Funbun on that DOR, which as we can see they will. So
yeah,
uh,
and they've also got the Phoebe with that nest box builder. So um,
uh,
they might
oh
be looking at that. And again, you kind of look at these two bonus cards, and on the surface, you think Prairie Manager, guaranteed 3 points, but that enclosure builder, they're only one away. So suddenly, if you play that Phoebe, that's going to help with those two bonus cards. 3 points on
hmm
its own, which isn't bad. And yeah, like you said, if you can help tie that into round goal, and steal a few points, then absolutely that feels like it's worth doing.
yeah. Now is that counter correct? So do they have 3 turns remaining?
Yeah, so
Oh
they
no, that's two.
yeah,
Okay.
it's two. It's three including that because they went first on this round. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
okay. I thought so. I was gonna say if they could
mm,
get both the Phoebe and
yeah,
uh the
yeah,
Hawk down, that might be a big score. But
yeah, that could
yeah,
potentially have been worth it. But yeah, they'll have a turn laying eggs here, so that's going to get some points, and then yeah, they'll look to get that Phoebe down. Obviously, knowing what we know, Funbun, they're just fairly straightforwardly going to go for this double play. In Julius's mind, they will kind of think, oh, what if they're going to play another forest bird? You see your opponent pick up all this food, and you do wonder, have they got something up their sleeve? But yeah, I think it's the right play for Julius anyway, probably to try and get that Phoebe down. But it's sensible at least to delay it this one turn when they could afford to, and yeah, just assess the situation on that final turn and work out what's the best option.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean they don't they don't have to think they're gonna get double birded. I mean the double birds are all out.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, it could be interesting. I mean I still think I'm leaning Funbun, but
yeah,
I think we're in for another really interesting point count, and of course it will depend too on what this crane brings.
indeed. So let's have a look and see what they can get. And that's not a
Ooh,
bad pickup. Platform builder for four
no,
points. I think anytime you can score 4 points like that without even really trying, pick up on basically your last turn. Yeah, that's what they're looking for. And yeah, you see they're already above 100. So I think our viewers are for once in agreement with us both here, with 88% saying that Funbun's going to win this. So yeah, that kind of feels like the way this game has gone. And yeah, I always like it. I say this all the time, but when you can end a game like this, with minimal food left over, just that one seed,
hmm
and having no cards, it wasn't like they would have benefited from more cards because they wouldn't have had turns to play them anyway at the end here. And
right.
actually being able to use everything they were given that they got from the deck, it just, it feels very efficient. So it always pleases me to see something like that. So here we go. We'll go into the final scores. Yeah, it feels like Funbun's going to get this, but Julius, they scored very strongly in those end of round goals in particular. But yeah, they're going to have a real fight on their hands. Trying to come back from this early lead that Funbun's built up, but you see it is neck and neck as we go into the egg count. So it's going to be very interesting here to see how this lines up at the end. And there we
Oh,
go, those tuck cards. So I think those hunts that Funbun had from their hunting powers in the grasslands just managed to bring it back for them there. But again, two scores over 100. Really, really strong performances, I think, from both players. Obviously helped by their ravens, but yeah, I think they both managed that well. Maybe that one turn drawing extra cards for Julius, maybe they could have brought it back a little bit closer, but still, very, very impressive from both players. Those two scores over 100, you don't see that all the time.
yeah. I mean, I think this match was everything that we were expecting and hoping for, and it was just solid play all around, all through all 3 games. I think the only The only big disappointment I have is that I don't think we saw the black chin hummingbird, did we?
We didn't know, and we did have that. I think we had that on the bingo, so that's normally one you can count for. Especially when you have three games like this and three really strong games where these players are cycling through, seeing a lot of cards. You expect the black chin hummingbird to come up at some point, which is a bit of a disappointment. But there we go.
I'm also disappointed in myself. I thought, forgetting the commentator gets distracted part because I thought, well, it's not that I mind getting it, but I was so proud. I got bitten by my cat twice during that, and I thought for sure that was
through it. Yeah,
that was going to set me off, and I was or whatever, start screaming, profanities, whatever. But I was like, nope.
No, you
right on through it, and I blew it on the international. It was the Mexican standoff did me in.
Yeah, that was all my fault. So I can only apologise. But yeah, as I said, very well played. I will just quickly bring both of our players back in the room if they do have anything to say. So funbun, I will start by coming to you if you're there. Very well played. 2-3 very good games from both players. But yeah, how did you find that went for you?
Yeah, thank you. I thought honestly that I was not gonna win, just like with all those bonus cards and EORs. Yeah, all my tucks at the end definitely did it, and my bird points too. So I mean, those were all great games. Well played to Julius, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, absolutely. But yeah, just Julius, I'll bring you in now. How did you feel? That was some really strong scores, and it must be disappointing to go out in that fashion.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Those were fun games, and I'm happy it didn't end after 2 games.
Yeah.
So we had the decider match, and I mean those were all close games.
Yeah.
I think I'm happy with it.
Yeah, no, I admire your attitude. That's very, very impressive. And like you said, three really good games. They were really fun to watch. Absolutely, I enjoyed them, and I'm sure our viewers did as well. And yeah, they looked like the kind of games that were really fun to be a part of as well. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for taking part, and obviously thank you to our viewers for joining us, and thank you to Gruvenstein for walking and talking through that with me. It's been a pleasure. So
cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I will just wrap it up now. So congratulations again to funbun, who's going to go through, and yeah, well played to both players. Very strong performances. So thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, hopefully we will see you again on a future live stream. Take care everyone.